Guys, this is S&P 500 weekly technical analysis for the week of July 8th. For the first time, the S&P 500 has closed above the 5,500 mark, and this has opened a new bullish window for the S&P 500. However, this bullish window is going to face a very heavy, very strong resistance zone, and unless there comes two successful closings above this strong resistance zone, the S&P 500 is expected to trade above 5,500 but below the zone. Other than that, S&P 500 moved up and sustained heavily bullish and closed approximately equal to the high of the candle on Friday, and there were these three bullish candles. This is why we are anticipating a gap up open, or irrespective of any open, an initial bullish movement in the S&P 500 on Monday. And also we are anticipating profit booking. The reason for the profit booking is that the S&P 500 is heavily overbought and heavily saturated on the weekly, daily and the lower level charts. And what is this? The zone. I will disclose the numbers and why we are expecting the S&P 500 to trade in between the zone and the 5,500, and all of these are bullish and bearish conditions in detail in this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. Now guys, before I discuss the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis, let's take a quick recap of what I predicted in the previous week and what actually has happened. This was my previous S&P 500 technical analysis. And here I have discussed the role of 5,500, and also because there was some technical bearish conditions in the Dow Jones as well as in the S&P 500. That is why we were expecting some bearish movement on Monday. This was Monday. However, any bearish movement is expected to be limited, and irrespective of anything, irrespective of any kind of bearish movement, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq and the market will recover and will turn bullish. So that is what we have seen happening on Monday. Other than that, just one closing above 5,500 mark will force or will help the S&P 500 to move up heavily. And we have seen that on Tuesday, S&P 500 closed above 5,500 for the very first time, and then bullish, bullish and bullish. And the actual bullishness, it started from July 2nd itself, and in my final update to my Patreon community members, it was clear that if there comes a closing above 5,500, means that now there will be the new bullish movement, because the closing will be above 5,500. But because of technicals, even if it comes down, then also the fall is expected to be limited, and then it will recover. So guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. And if you want to get these daily and the precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now guys, I am going to discuss the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis, which will be for the week of July 8th, means from July 8th, which is Monday, to July 12th, that will be Friday. Now the first point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the weekly chart. Weekly chart means the big picture, the long-term picture, okay, for a month, for a quarter or so. Now because of the formation of this heavy weekly bullish candle, the S&P 500 has gained more weight. What? More weight. Okay, so it is overbought, it is saturated for last 3-4 weeks, okay, and now it has gained more weight, but at the same time it is indicating bullishness, right? However, in case of the Dow Jones, it is completely normal, okay, so the bullishness is there, okay, but overbought condition and saturation, that is not there, okay. So Dow Jones is in a better position or in a better condition to move bullish without any hurdles or without any problems, right? But the case here in the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq is entirely different. Now the second point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the daily chart. On the daily chart, again the same picture, overbought condition and the saturation. Overbought and saturation on the daily chart too, and also on the daily chart it is indicating some more bullishness. And also yes, the profit booking is there on Monday, most likely profit booking. Okay, I will discuss this in either in the second point or in the third point of the agenda. Okay, the profit booking is there. So the daily chart means a short-term picture for a week, for 2 weeks or so. The third and the last point of the agenda is the probable movement of the S&P 500 from July 8th, which is Monday, to July 12th, that will be Friday. So what is going to happen in the S&P 500 from Monday through Friday, I'm going to discuss here. So just like what I've discussed in the previous S&P 500 technical analysis, that on Monday, irrespective of anything, there will be some bearish movement, but this bearish movement will be limited. And irrespective of any kind of bearish movement, the S&P 500 will retrace. It will regain its bullish trend. So I will discuss the probable movement here. And guys, once again, when I say the probable movement, I discuss the probable movement in the weekly chart, in the daily chart, but most of the probable movement is discussed here in the last point of the agenda. That is why I recommend you to watch all of these, the three sections, because all of these three sections are interrelated, are interconnected. Okay? So that is why I recommend you to watch all of these, the three sections, to understand what is going to happen in the S&P 500 and in the entire US stock market, and why that is going to happen, or why will that happen. So guys, now I am going to begin with the first point of the agenda. So guys, now here I am going to discuss the first point of the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis, and here I will do the technical analysis on the weekly chart. This is the weekly chart of the S&P 500. Weekly chart means one candle represents 1 week, not 1 day or 1 hour. So guys, before I discuss the candle and the technicals, once again, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. And if you're looking for the daily and the precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now let's first discuss the candle. Okay, it's a heavy bullish candle. It's a heavy bullish candle. Okay, if you notice this candle, and this candle and this candle, okay, these were not the heavy bullish candle. This was a heavy bullish candle, this was a heavy, and this was a heavy bullish candle. Okay, so what does it mean, a heavy bullish candle? And there is one more thing, the closing of the candle is around, means it is not exactly equal to the high of the candle, but is around the high of the candle. Okay, very near to that the candle. Okay, and other than that, the closing of the candle is above the high of the previous candle. Okay, all of this indicates good bullishness or heavy bullishness in the market. Okay, now what this good or heavy bullishness will do, this good or heavy bullishness will give a gap up open on Monday, or irrespective of any open, an initial bullish movement on Monday. Means even if there comes a gap down open for some reason because of Asian and the European markets, then also after open it will correct itself and will try to move up, and that will then fulfill the condition. So it doesn't matter that whether it is going to move up by 0.1% or 0.5%. Once it moves up, comes near to the previous close, the condition, the technical condition will be fulfilled. And this was my final update to my Patreon community members on Friday. And here I have mentioned that if the S&P 500 closes above the strong resistance level, in that case we can expect some good profit booking on Monday, and also we can expect a gap up open on Monday, or irrespective of any open, an initial bullish movement on Monday. And those who are new to my channel, the final update to my Patreon community members is given 1 or 2 hours before the closing of the stock market, so that the members can plan their trades for the next day or the next week or so. So now this is clear, gap up, bullishness, okay, and a condition for the profit booking. Okay, profit booking means the market is bullish, okay, bullish, and now the market has reached to the state where it cannot move up anymore. Okay, that is why whosoever has bought here, they will now try to book their profit, mean they will exit their position, mean they will sell. Okay, and this selling will bring down the index. Okay, now how much selling will be there, to what levels it will come. Okay, that I will discuss later in the second or the third point of the agenda. Let's see what is happening in the Dow Jones. This is the weekly candle of the Dow Jones. Now here you can clearly see that there is a slip in the moving averages supporting clearly a bullish movement, and also the candle is a bullish candle. Okay, we will simply say that it's a bullish candle, not good bullish or not heavy bullish, it's just a bullish candle. Okay, but because there is a slip and the candle closed above the moving averages, so this candle indicates bullishness. Okay, but this candle does not indicate any gap up open or any initial bullish movement, right? So it indicates only bullishness. Whereas in case of the S&P 500, bullishness is there, definitely it is there, but also a condition for the gap up open or irrespective of any open and initial bullish movement on Monday. Now let's discuss the technical indicators. So technically, if you see the S&P 500, okay, there is a clear fan out in the moving averages. S&P 500 is bullish through the moving averages, is trading in the bullish side of the Bollinger Bands. It is bullish. Also, it is trading in the bullish side of the Ichimoku cloud. So it is bullish. So these indicators are saying it is bullish. And now the recent development, we have seen that there was a change in the MACD. MACD has gone bullish. Okay, and at the same time stochastic RSI is also bullish. So MACD is bullish, stochastic RSI is also supporting a bullish movement. Okay, so everything is bullish here. So S&P 500 is 100% absolute bullish on the weekly chart. Okay, the only problem is that it is overbought and it is saturated. So overbought condition and saturation is there, and it is there for last 3-4 weeks. Now this concern will weigh heavily on the S&P 500 and on the market when the stochastic RSI hits the absolute saturation. In that case, the S&P 500 will be saturated from, in that case the S&P 500 will be heavily saturated through multiple technical indicators. Okay, so there are good chances that when there comes a gap up open on Monday, or irrespective of any open, when the S&P 500 try to move up, okay, either on Monday or Tuesday, okay, whenever it try to move up and it moves above 5567. What was 5567? It was the closing of the S&P 500, okay, on last Friday. So when the S&P 500 moves above 5567, then there are good chances that the stochastic RSI may hit 100. Okay, although we need to wait and we need to see once the S&P 500 comes into the session to confirm whether it is hitting 100 or not. Because if the S&P 500 fails to hit absolute the 100, means I am talking about the K channel. Okay, if the K channel doesn't hit absolute 100, in that case there will be a condition, or there may come a kind of condition wherein the S&P 500 can still remain bullish for the entire week. Okay, means not for these 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There are chances that it may remain bearish or red for 1 or 2 days or 3 days, and then it recovers, okay, and closes as bullish on Thursday or Friday. So the only difference is if the S&P 500 hits the 100, then the next week itself the S&P 500 and the entire market will come into a condition, okay, wherein it can come down. Okay, come down to what? Come down to at most or around 5500. Okay, although it will try to recover, it will try to sustain above 5500. Okay, and if there comes good profit booking or heavy profit booking, in that case it will lose the 5500, will come down to some other levels. Okay, but again then it will retry. Okay, so these are levels and everything will be there. Now this is the weekly chart of the Dow Jones. Okay, here you will see again the same picture. Okay, so nothing much has changed. The only problem for the Dow Jones is that its MACD, the weekly MACD, is still bearish. Otherwise everything is bullish. Okay, although there are chances that Dow Jones will continue its bullish movement. Okay, but there will always be a fear, some fear, that the Dow Jones can give up anytime. Why? Because of the MACD, because the MACD is bearish. So on the weekly chart, Dow Jones will be seen as 80% bullish. 80% bullish. But the good thing is that Dow Jones is neither overbought nor saturated. This means that the bullish movement in the Dow Jones is allowed without any problem, without any issues. So guys, I hope the picture is clear on the weekly chart. Now I have this one more information to share with you. This is my S&P 500 knowledge transfer program, or the stock market knowledge transfer program. Through this program, I teach the movement, strategies, trend analysis, prediction, technicals, means predicting the movement even before it happens, and my support and resistance levels, and much more. And the motto of the program is to help you become self-reliant. And whatever I'm going to teach here, it will be based on the technicals, the patterns, the movement. For example, last week I have mentioned and I predicted that under such a scenario wherein there is a holiday and there is a half day, okay, and the index is trading bullish, so we are anticipating that S&P 500 and the entire market will go bullish, will trade bullish. And even if there comes any fall, any kind of fall, then also it will correct, it will recover, and it will go bullish. So whatever I am going to teach here, it is applicable to any stock, any index, currency pair, commodity, crypto, or anything which is traded in the stock market. Other than that, this program is delivered one-on-one basis only. Okay, this is my email address, and more information is there in this the Google spreadsheet. And when you open this the Google spreadsheet, then you will notice there are these 3 levels, and I have mentioned everything whatever I am going to teach here, my technical indicators, my modified technical indicators, and from basics to advanced, everything, patterns, pattern analysis, options trading from basics to advanced, options trading strategies, live calculations, options calculator, and live calculations, okay, calculated support and resistance levels, how to deduce the trend of the market, how to predict even before it happens. And these are some important terms and conditions, and these are the snapshots of the recent meetings. So guys, whenever you want to participate in this program, or if you have any questions, then this is my email address. You can simply send me an email. And guys, I have given the link to this program in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now guys, I am going to discuss the second point of the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. And here I will do the technical analysis of the S&P 500 on the daily chart. So this is the daily chart. Daily chart means one candle represents one day, not 1 week or 1 hour. Okay, one candle means one day. So guys, before I discuss the candle, once again, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. And if you are looking for these daily and the precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now let's discuss the candle. This last candle is a good bullish candle, 1, 2, 3, okay, third in a row. Closing of the candle is very near to the high of the candle, okay, and also there are these four candles are there, 4 bullish candles, okay. So all of this indicates a gap up open on Monday, or irrespective of any open and initial bullish movement on Monday, which indicates that a profit booking is expected to happen on Monday. So now gap up is confirmed through the daily candle, and gap up is also confirmed through the weekly chart, okay, the weekly candle. And this is the Dow Jones. Here if you notice the same thing, okay, a heavy intraday retrace, closing is near to, not very near to the high, okay. So this is not indicating any gap up open, this is simply indicating bullishness, okay, and through this bullishness Dow Jones can try for some bullish movement, okay. But here this is the candle in here in case of the S&P 500, and also the same was seen in the QQQ, okay, and Nasdaq. So let's not talk about the QQQ because it's the ETF of the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq, okay, again the same thing was seen. This means that overall the same condition here, okay. Now let's talk about the technicals. In terms of the technicals, okay, almost the same thing what we have seen on the weekly chart. There is a clear fan out in the moving averages, closing is above the moving averages, S&P 500 is bullish. Bollinger Bands, S&P 500 is bullish. Ichimoku Cloud, S&P 500 is bullish, okay. And here on the daily chart, okay, yes, this is a big change, and this change was seen on Wednesday. Okay, and what was that? This was the bullish crossover in the MACD, and before and means prior to Wednesday there was this the bearish MACD and the bearish this the stochastic RSI. That is why, and other than these, the candles formed on last to last Friday. That is why I have predicted that either there will be a gap down open, or irrespective of any open, there will be some bearish movement. However, any bearish movement will be limited. Why? Because of the weekly chart. So we have seen that on Monday, okay, there was a little gap up open, but it came down, and it fulfilled its the condition, and then it moved up. Okay, but now the good thing is that MACD is bullish, and also the stochastic RSI is bullish. Okay, so all of this indicates that the S&P 500 is absolute bullish through all of these technical indicators, and it is 100% bullish, absolute bullish. Again, the same problem, it is overbought and also it is saturated. Okay, so what we have seen that on the weekly chart as well as on the daily chart, it is absolute bullish as well as overbought and saturated, and that is going to create the problem for the S&P 500 itself. This means that now any more bullish movement is expected to be limited, not heavy, limited. That is why I am saying again and again, there are chances of profit booking. And if you notice, this was my first update on July 5th, Friday, which I published around 10:30 or 10:45 a.m. in the morning. And within 1 hour, okay, I mentioned here that if the S&P 500 remain bullish on Friday, in that case there will be heavy probability of profit booking on Monday. So now before I discuss the profit booking, okay, let's see what is happening in the Dow Jones in terms of the technicals. Okay, and once again guys, Dow Jones is just for the reference to the S&P 500. So this is the daily chart of the Dow Jones. Okay, daily candle I have discussed. In terms of the technicals, okay, again everything is bullish here, and here, yes, one more thing here. The good thing is that MACD is bullish, stochastic RSI is bullish. Now Dow Jones is also 100% absolute bullish, but the good thing is Dow Jones is neither overbought nor saturated. Okay, this means that technically Dow Jones is allowed to move up, Dow Jones is allowed to go bullish. Okay, this will, and yes, an important part is that when the Dow Jones moves up, and if the S&P 500 is seen struggling at that time when the Dow Jones is moving up, in that case the bullish movement in the Dow Jones will not allow the S&P 500 to give up heavily. Means any bearish movement in the S&P 500 at that time will be limited. So why I am saying that Dow Jones will move up and the S&P 500 may struggle, it can come down? Again, the same disconnect between the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. Okay, S&P 500 and Nasdaq are heavily super bullish, whereas Dow Jones is simply bullish. Okay, and there is a disconnect. That is why we are seeing that Dow Jones is sustaining bullish, or Dow Jones was sustaining bullish, S&P 500 was struggling to move up. Okay, so this means a bullish movement in the Dow Jones will help the S&P 500 to sustain. Whether the S&P 500 will move up or not, it will depend on the levels. Okay, but the Dow Jones, the bullish movement in the Dow Jones will help the S&P 500 to sustain, and this is the big thing. But whatever is going to happen, I will keep you posted through these, the daily and the precise updates of the S&P 500 from Monday through Friday. If you are my Patreon community member, and if you have not yet joined my Patreon community, then you can join my Patreon community to get these daily and the precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday. And guys, it's not just about the daily precise updates of the S&P 500, the Dow Jones every day from Monday through Friday, but also I give the stock market opportunities in the premium stocks of the US stock market, the top 20-30 companies of the US stock market. Every week, minimum 5 to 10 opportunities in the premium stock. So guys, whenever you want to join my Patreon community, I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. And when you follow that link, then you will see that this is my Patreon page and this is my Patreon profile. And here you will notice that there are these two levels. This is daily S&P 500 updates for non-US and Canada residents. This is the daily S&P 500 updates for US and Canada residents only. And whenever you subscribe to either of these, then you will be getting the daily S&P 500 analysis, updates, probable movement, as well as the stock market opportunities, minimum 5 to 10 every week. And guys, if you notice that many people have joined my Patreon community for last many months, years, and they are getting the daily and the precise updates every day from Monday through Friday, and they are very well aware of what is happening, why it is happening, and what is expected to happen. And guys, whenever you want to join my Patreon community, then I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. You can follow that link and you can join my Patreon community, and you are welcome. Now guys, I am going to discuss the third and the last point of the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. And here I will give you the probable movement of the S&P 500 and also in some manner of the Dow Jones for the week of July 8th, means from July 8th, which is Monday, to July 12th, that will be Friday. So guys, once again, let me remind you that here I will discuss the probable movement, but also I have discussed some probable movement in the weekly chart as well as in the daily chart sections. So if you have skipped or if you have not yet watched those two sections, then I recommend you to watch those two sections in order to understand that whatever I am going to discuss here, why it is going to happen and what will be the implications. However, most of the probable movement will be discussed here, but not the candles, okay, and the other things that I've discussed in the daily and the weekly chart section. Okay, next week, okay, Tuesday and Wednesday, Fed chairman will testify to the Senate and the Congress. Okay, so this will impact the movement of the stock market. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the CPI data, the inflation data will be published. This time the Wall Street is not expecting any change in the inflation. They are expecting some change in the headline inflation, not in the core inflation. Okay, so Thursday is volatile, Tuesday, Wednesday is volatile, Thursday is volatile, Friday PPI data will be published. But because Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday are heavily volatile, this means that whatever will happen on these 3 days, okay, will impact the movement on Friday. Means the PPI data in actual may not impact the movement of the market, but rather whatever will be happening on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that will impact the movement on Friday. This also means that Monday is blank. Okay, Monday is blank means there are good chances that S&P 500 will give a gap up open, as I have discussed, okay, in the daily and the weekly chart, and or irrespective of any open, okay, some bullish movement. And if there comes no profit booking, although chances are very heavy, very good that there will be profit booking, but if there comes no profit booking, rather the S&P 500 sustains bullish, closes bullish. Okay, in that case on Tuesday, okay, during the testimony of the Federal Reserve Chairman, okay, we can expect some good profit booking. And the banks will post the earnings like JP Morgan, okay, Wells Fargo. So I think that will happen on Friday. So this means that from the next week onwards, the volatility will increase in the market and we can expect some sharp bullish and bearish movements, okay, because of that volatility. So guys, before I discuss the probable movement, once again, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're looking for these daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now guys, in terms of the probable movement, what we know is that on Monday, either there will be a gap up open or irrespective of any open, an initial bullish movement. And now because the S&P 500 on the weekly, daily, 4-hourly, half-day basis and hourly basis, okay, it is trading in the overbought and the saturated condition, okay, and at the same time we are anticipating a gap up open. What it means? This means that there are good chances or there are heavy chances of seeing a profit booking on Monday. Now, what is this the profit booking? Profit booking means those who have bought earlier, okay, they have to book their profits and they have to close their positions. When they will close their positions means they will sell. When they will sell, then the index or the market will come down, because when they are going to sell, they are not going to sell 1000 or 100,000. They are going to sell in billions of dollars, okay, to book the profits. Now this profit booking, okay, it can be absolute, it may be absolute, okay, or it can be partial. So if there comes an absolute profit booking, generally the absolute profit booking comes when the index has reached to the new heights, or the stock has reached to the new heights where there is no more space left, okay, in the bullish side. So then there comes absolute. Partial comes when the market participants, they anticipate that as of now index or the stock is going to struggle, okay, but later on it will move up. This means that it will struggle, it will come down, but then later on it will move up. So they will go for this the partial profit booking. They will book not the entire but some of, okay, these are profits, and then once the index comes down or the stock comes down a little, okay, it sustains, then they will buy again, and then there will be the resumption of this the bullish movement. So this was with this the profit booking. So let's first discuss the bullish side. Okay, the S&P 500 is now going to enter into a very strong, very heavy resistance zone, and this heavy resistance zone is this one, 5550 to 5588. Okay, so on July 5th, not exactly on July 5th, but on July 3rd, on Wednesday, okay, I have disclosed this zone to my Patreon community members, and I mentioned that the S&P 500 is now heading to the zone, okay, and this is a very strong zone, and this has a technical as well as non-technical relevance. So the zone is from 5550 to 5588. Okay, now this bullish movement, as of now S&P 500 is 100% absolute bullish, absolute saturated, absolute overbought. Also the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart is about to hit the absolute saturation, okay. So there will be multiple technical indicators which will be at the absolute saturation. It is in absolute overbought, that is also there, okay. All of these conditions, and then at the same time the zone comes into the picture, okay. All of this indicates that now the continuation of the bullish movement, okay, it is questionable. Means now there are good chances, or there are fair chances, that the S&P 500 is going to hold, okay, in the zone or around the zone. Means its bullish movement is expected to be limited to the zone or around the zone. There are good chances that it can breach 5588. That's not a problem. But how much it will be able to breach? 5 points, 3 points, 7 points, 10 points. So it doesn't matter whether it will move up, it will be able to breach, will be move up by 3 points, 5 points, 7 points, because eventually the zone will play its role. Okay, there are some critical levels I have mentioned to you, means to my Patreon community members again and again, and the S&P 500 either has failed miserably or has moved up sharply from those levels. Okay, so this zone is of the same importance, right? This means that now Monday is blank. Okay, Monday there is nothing, okay, as such in terms of the news or the data. Tuesday onwards volatility will increase. So now the S&P 500 has only Monday. So here the thing is that 5550, 5588, there is a strong zone, okay. As of now S&P 500 may try to sustain, but there won't be any more bullish movement until and unless there comes 3 closings, 3 consecutive closings, 3 successive closings above 5588. Simple. Once there comes 3 consecutive closings, 3 successive closings, either in the next week or in the next month or in the next year, then only there will be more bullish movement towards 5000. But in that case, yes, If this happens, if the S&P 500 sustains, okay, enters into this the bullish side, in that case the more bullish movement, it will not be towards 5600. No, it will be towards 5700, because the next heavy resistance zone comes above the 5600. So in that case 5600 will not be able to restrict the movement. It will then move towards 5700. Okay, so just remember this point. So this particular zone, and then above 5600 means towards or around 5700. Okay, there will be something. So this is in the bull side. And yes, if the S&P 500 gives up from the zone itself, okay, and also if the closing is below 5500, okay, if there comes not just one but two closings below 5500, then expect the S&P 500 to give a little bit more, okay, to come down to around 5000, how much, 400, 60, 70, means 5400, let's say 50, 5450. Okay, just this let's stick to this number, although it will be around 60 or 70. Okay, in that case the movement will be around, it will come down, it will find good support, it will sustain, and then it will try to recover 5500. But as of now, any bearish movement is expected to be limited to 5500. 5500 is the psychological mark. Remember this thing. Okay, now comes the bearish side movement. So the bearish side movement, as I mentioned earlier, okay, the high of this candle 5524. Okay, any bearish side movement for now is expected to be limited to 5524 and then a recovery. Okay, or it can breach 5524 a little, but then again a recovery. Or the S&P 500 will remain bullish, will sustain bullish. Okay, even if there comes a red candle, two red candles, 4, 5, 10, 20, 100 red candles, doesn't matter. Okay, it will sustain bullish as long as the closing is above 5500 psychological mark. Remember, I am talking about closing. I am talking about closing. Closing is important. Breach is not, because S&P 500 can breach this 5500 mark. It can come down to 5490, 5480 or so. No, I'm not talking about breach. I'm talking about closing. A closing above 5500 will help the S&P 500 to sustain, and as long as S&P 500 is trading above 5500, the door to 5700 is open. Okay, but in order to reach to 5700, there is a very strong hurdle, that is the zone 5550 to 5588. Okay, so the S&P 500 must breach and give 3 closings above this the zone, so that it can move towards 5700. Below the zone, no. Okay, so any fall for now is expected to be limited to 5524. Losing 5524 means 5500. S&P 500 for now will try its level best to sustain and to close above 5500, because if it loses 5500, then this particular level, okay, there is a very strong support level, my calculated support level, and the S&P 500 for these many days was sustaining above that level. Sorry, not sustaining, closing above that level, and because of that particular closing, the condition, okay, it moved up. Because if there would have like 2 or 3 closings below that the level, strong support level, in that case definitely bearish, more bearish, 5375. Okay, but again and again sustained. Okay, so as of now, even in case of the profit booking, we are not anticipating any heavy fall. Heavy fall, very heavy fall will come, either Fed chairman says something, okay, which goes against the stock market, or on Thursday the inflation, the core CPI and the CPI data, if it moves up, if there comes a bullish retrace in the inflation in the CPI data, then this will happen. And in that case, what will happen? If it comes down, if it breaches this a strong support level, in that case it will be moving towards 5375. Very simple. But whatever will happen or whatever will be happening, I will keep you posted through these, the daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday if you are my Patreon community member. And if you have not yet joined my Patreon community, then I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. So guys, hit like if you have liked this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not yet subscribed. And if you have any questions that you want to ask, then please feel free to ask your question through the comment section. So guys, this was my S&P 500 weekly technical analysis for the week of July 8th. Means from July 8th, which is Monday, to July 12th, that will be Friday.